comedian of the Storytellers show, Nathan. Come on, everyone, let's hear it for him.
Hi everybody. Yes. So I'm going to get a bit real with you all. It may not look like it just by looking at me, but I used to be into some pretty bad shit. I used to drink so much. I'm ashamed to say that I would pass out and wake up in my own urine sometimes. I had no respect for authority. I had no respect for other people's feelings. I would just say whatever I wanted. If there was anything I wanted, I would just take it, you know. And if anyone got in the way, I'd hit them. And one time I went into a church and a priest came up and he said, "You're all sinners and you need to come and find Jesus." And I don't know why, but I felt really moved. And I staggered, shuffled down to the altar. And as I was making that prayer, I felt like all of those years of sin and depravity were being washed away, you know? And it didn't take very long because I was 3 years old at the time. And I pissed myself again. No, but I was Christian, I was religious very early in my life, and I was a very full-on religious Christian child. And I'm not anymore, but back then it was very full-on. And what I used to do when I was a little kid, I used to obsess over cults. Yeah. And it's a weird thing to obsess over when you're a kid, but I think it's because my grandmother actually joined a cult when she was younger. Sorry, she joined a cult when I was younger. And look, she was just in her apartment and some people came up, knocked on the door and started telling her about a new life. And the next thing you know, she was calling us and telling us that she's going to sell everything she owns and she's going to give it all to this cult and she's going to move into this compound. And I didn't see her very much after that. But when I finally did see her, she didn't look very happy. She didn't look like she was enjoying herself there. She was actually telling me things like, they're controlling me. They're telling me what I can do and what I can't do. They're telling me when to eat. They're telling me when to sleep. They're making me take drugs I don't want to have to take. One time she ran away from the cult, and the cult leaders just grabbed her and brought her back. And, yeah, that's funny. And, you know, she once looked at me dead in the eyes, and she said, "The only way I can escape this place, I think, is to die." And I was so worried, and I'd go to my parents, right? And I'd tell them, I'd be like, "We have to help Grandma, she's in a cult." And all they would tell me, every single time, they'd say, "Nathan, how many times do we have to tell you? She is not in a cult, she is in a retirement village." But I knew. Another reason that we were actually obsessed with cults was because me and my family, being extremely Christian, we actually became part of a group, a certain group. Now, it wasn't a cult, okay? It definitely wasn't a cult, but it was a little bit culty. Like, okay, so sure, it was in the Blue Mountains, and it was in like a community, a gated community, okay? But it was definitely not a cult. Okay, I'm sure there was a guy in granite, and we called him the leader, but it definitely wasn't a cult. I mean, sure, they told me what I should and shouldn't listen to. Like, they taught me that I couldn't listen to rock and roll bands. They told me that AC/DC, the band AC/DC, stood for Antichrist Devil Child. And I believe that KISS stood for Kids in Satan's Service. And I believe that ABBA stood for Association of Beelzebub Believers. But it definitely wasn't a cult. Okay, and I'll explain why. Because every single time that we went to the compound, they made us sing this song. And it goes like this. We work together hand in hand, doing good as all good people do. We worship God and Jesus, and we worship our leader too. See, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing culty about that. No drug shall pass before our lips, no alcohol shall we imbibe. And if anybody says, hey, you guys a cult? Then we tell them no, we are in a loving tribe. We are not a cult, we are not a cult, we're the Church of the Unified Loving Tribe. We are not a cult, we're definitely not a cult, we are not a cult. Now we all praise the leader, we are not a cult. Now you don't sound convinced, so I'll sing the second verse. We obey the leader unquestioningly, till we shuffle off his mortal coil. And if the Australian police force raids us, we drink from this bowl of cordial. We are not a cult, we are not a cult, we're the Church of the Unified Loving Tribe. We are not a cult, we are definitely not a cult, we are not a cult. Now we praise the leader, pay the leader, pay the leader, obey the leader. We are definitely not a cult. Raised religious, was religious for a very long time. Now, one of the things that one does when one is raised religious is that they get married very early because they're not allowed to have sex until they're married. So, that's one of the things that I did, and I've written a bit of a song, a little bit about that. Okay. Can you all hear that?
Yep.
I woke up in the morning, I was all alone. When I woke up in the morning, and I checked my phone. But then I realized that I'd been a fool. I forgot to tell the kids to get ready for school. That wasn't cool. And so I busted into their room, and the reality hit me like a sonic boom, that the last one had moved out about a month ago or two. Now I got the blues. I've got those no kids in the house. It's quiet as a mouse, empty nester blues. Well, all my friends, they're all jealous of me. They think that I'm just so happy, jealous and free. But they don't realize the pain that I'm in, 'cause every single weekend I get to sleep in till 12:30 or even 1 or 2. I got those empty nester blues. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my time if I'm not cleaning my carpets from homemade slime. And there's so many more swimming pool. Now I no longer have to pay for semi-private school. And we got so much money left over, we're going to go on a cruise. We got those empty nest of boots. Well, no one told me how hard it was gonna be. Now that I can watch anything I want on TV. And my wife and I are running out of rooms to have sex in. We're honestly planning on installing a sex swing. And we turn one of the bedrooms into a jacuzzi. He got those empty nest eggs. So now I hope you understand just why I'm so down. 'Cause I don't have to drive them like everywhere in town. But I guess I'll just have to take it on the chin, at least until they decide to move back in. Until then I can do whatever I choose. I got those empty nested blues. And I no longer have to fight over the showers or the loos. And I never have to check if they drank all of my blood. And I never get interrupted when I have a snooze. I got those empty nester blues.
Okay, all right. Let's hear it again for Nathan Hillman.